welcome back to the Niche Football Podcast hosted by me, Cavan Campbell. The aim of this podcast is to focus on the more unique stories in football, the ones that you may not have heard of. The podcast will run alongside Niche Football Journalism.co.uk in bringing you interesting stories from around the world. A more narrative and storytelling format than your usual football podcast, and one that aims to tell a unique story in every episode. In this episode, we are sort of talking about Scotland, but also not at all. This story was submitted by Cavan, who's done some great in-depth research on the topic, and happy to share it with you. So, the title of this story is A Scottish Name, An African Rise. The story of Scottland FC. And no, you're not misreading it or mishearing it. This is the story of Scotland in Zimbabwe and how they are beginning to dominate African football. Scottish football is used to some pretty wild stories in recent years. We've seen St Johnstone winning a cup double, Falkirk gaining back-to-back promotion to the Premiership, and the league is becoming increasingly competitive with every passing season, particularly with the drop-off from Celtic and Rangers in the recent times. This all doesn't quite compare to the completely bewildering events unfolding in Zimbabwe for the new champions, Scotland FC. The question on most of your minds is probably why they are called Scotland FC. And no, unfortunately, it isn't a supporters group in Africa. Just wild fans of Scotland in Africa? No, not at all. It actually is because of their owner, and excuse the pronunciation here, Pedzisai Sakupwanya, but he actually goes by Scott, so that makes it a lot easier. Scott is a Zimbabwean Member of Parliament for the Mabuka Tafara constituency, where he strives to improve the livelihood and standard of living in the Harare region of Zimbabwe, Harare being the capital. His wealth stems from owning a gold mining company, and he has established a free medical maternity institution for pregnant women and patients in the Mabuka region. But back to Scotland FC. The club was only founded in 2023 and has quickly risen to the top. But how have they done this? So Scotland FC were placed in the Northern Region Soccer League, the second highest tier in Zimbabwean club football. They wound up finishing in the top spot on 84 points, 2 points ahead of MWOS FC after winning their last 5 games in their inaugural season. There are 4 regions that compete within the second tier. The winners of each automatically gain promotion. After the normal season is finished, the 4 regions play in a cup competition called the Champion of Champions Cup. Scotland FC faced off against Southern Region winners ZPC Hwange, a match that went to penalties, but ultimately Scotland lost out 4-3 in typical Scottish fashion. ZPC Hwange were the eventual winners of the trophy, and Scotland lost the third place playoff to Kwekwe United 3-1. Interestingly though, in Zimbabwe, the drama never ends as ZPC Hwange, who won the entire second division, actually sold their promoted place to MWOS FC and remained in the second division, with the decision being labelled a strategic partnership. After promotion in the first ever season as a club, all eyes were on Scotland to see what they could pull off in their maiden season in the Premier Soccer League. Before the start of the season, owner Scott, because you don't want to hear me pronounce the name again, used his connections and project to secure close to 50 million Zimbabwean dollars in sponsorship, which roughly equates to just under £2 million, close to Livingston's annual budget. This amount of money made them the wealthiest club in the country of Zimbabwe, and they used this money wisely. As the new season rolled in, the 2 new highest earners in the league both played for Scotland, Kama Biliat and Walter Musona. The former impressed in the pre-season friendly against Manchester United back in 2012, whilst at Ajax Cape Town, where Rio Ferdinand dubbed him an exciting young talent. The latter is a two-time winner of the Soccer Star of the Year award, winning the award in 2022 and 2024, an award presented to the best player in Zimbabwean football. Walter Musona was also contracted to the previous season's champions, Zimbabwe, before making the switch to Scotland. Scotland started well, winning their first two games 1-0 and 2-0 against Triangle United and Caps United, but they then stumbled to defeat against Ngezi Platinum and then only won one of the next 5 games. It will be a story of a late season charge for Scotland. This was pretty partly down to the big name signing they made. Belgian football might recognise the name, Knowledge Musona, the brother of previously signed Walter. Knowledge signed as one of the biggest pedigree names in Zimbabwean football history. Previously captain of the Zimbabwe national team, where he made 52 senior appearances, scoring 25 goals and being regarded as one of the finest strikers to come out of the country. Spending the last few seasons in Saudi Arabia, but before his journey in the Middle East, he amassed close to 150 appearances in Belgium and Germany, playing for the likes of Hoffenheim, Augsburg and Anderlecht. After his signing in late July, Scotland would win 5 straight games, after winning the 3 prior and had themselves sitting nicely near the top of the table, whilst also advancing through to the quarter-finals of the Chibuku Super Cup, the top domestic cup in Zimbabwean football. Unfortunately, a penalty loss, similar to a similar Scottish-sounding name, Highlanders FC, would spell the end of a cup run for the top-flight debutants. Then 5 out of 6 league wins in the run-in would deliver top-flight glory for Scotland, who, funnily enough, once again beat MWOS to the title, this time by a bit more sizable 7-point margin. It doesn't look like Scotland could have a more exciting season next year, but with winning the league comes their debut in the CAF Champions League. Scotland will enter into the first qualifying round. No Zimbabwean club has ever reached the group stages since Platinum FC in 2020, and no team has reached the final since '98, when Dynamos lost out to ASEC Mimosas 4-2 on aggregate. Zimbabwe football clubs have struggled in qualifying in the recent years, and their calendar does not help that fact. They currently play a February-November calendar, meaning players are tied come the start of the qualifying rounds. This could all change as ZIFA, the Zimbabwe Football Association, has opted to increase the league from 18 to 20 teams and is looking to realign their calendar into an August to May season to match most federations. This is big news because in the last campaign, Zimbabwe lost to the Eswatini side. Again, pronunciation, this is difficult. Zingizina Hotspurs on penalties. A tie that most Zimbabwe teams would hope to win. Scotland, with its riches and pedigree, will have all focus on this competition as they fight to make even more history and continue the seemingly unstoppable rise through African football. Though all of this success and rise, the big thing for Scotland is they haven't lost sight of the club they want to be. Their love for the surrounding communities is palpable and has become a huge part in increasing the health of the people in Harare. They are doing more for women's football in Zimbabwe and hosting training sessions and fun activities for people of all ages and backgrounds. So for Scottish football fans, maybe think about adopting Scotland FC as a second club, like a cousin you don't really talk to, but every so often someone mentions their name and you just ask how they're doing. Football always has drama in every nation and corner of the earth, and it just so happens that the drama in Zimbabwe revolves around Scotland. And there goes the final whistle on this story. If you have any thoughts, head over to the website and leave a comment on the article. Cavan contributed this with some very good in-depth research, and I'd like to thank him again for his contribution. All feedback is appreciated, even ways in which you can improve the podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, a 5-star review on Spotify would be amazing. Remember to tell your friends and follow the social at Niche Football Pod. More articles are available on the website at nichefootballjournalism.co.uk for your reading pleasure. I've been your host, Cavan, and I'll see you at the next kickoff.